How's it going, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the Master Chief Collection. It has been quite some time since I've said those words. Today we're checking out a pretty cool mod, which has actually been on the workshop for quite some time, but I'm only just checking it out today. And that is a mod which provides us with all sorts of Halo Wars things in the Master Chief Collection. So you might recognize what I'm walking among at the moment. These are some power generators, and I've, of course, spawned on a UNSC base. This is what looks like a garage up close, and you may have noticed there's some vehicles over there. We'll check those out in a moment. And I think this is another garage. So this is a mod created by Green Knight, and I think there's other collaborators too. So you can go and check it out for yourself if you'd like to do so. Around the front of the base here, we've got some mongoose and jackrabbit, but I want to quickly take a quick look at the the UNSC base, because I think this is one of the coolest things in the mod, because I do believe the author of the mod actually made this, unlike some of the vehicles, because you may remember in previous mod videos where I've taken a look at specifically the Sand Trap Firefight mod. It actually contained some of the vehicles, like the Jackrabbit and the Cobra, for instance. And I do believe these models for the UNSC bases and also the Covenant bases, which you can kind of see the tip of over there, were created by the author of this mod. But that may be wrong. You'll have to check out the description of the mod on Steam. Of course, via the pinned comment if you want to do so. So let's waste no more time, shall we, and take a look at some of the vehicles, because that's, of course, what you're here for. This is the Jackrabbit. And it's got a bit of a, I don't know, an interesting sound about it. It's kind of like a cross between a mongoose and a warthog, I want to say. And it fires grenades. You can kind of see it. Maybe if I shoot it in the air, if you take a closer look at that, it actually is a grenade. And I don't think there's any alternate modes. So I can brake. And A is a handbrake. So it's not as quick as a Jackrabbit might sort of be in Halo Wars 2, but I suppose it's a sort of cobbled together model, which is to be expected of a mod, I suppose. But yeah, the Jackrabbit in FPS, pretty fucking cool if you ask me. Model looks pretty slick, and I can definitely see this coming to, you know, future Halo Wars games, future Halo games even, I should say. And I don't know if that's glass. Let's see if there's any sort of damage models to it. Looks like it is just one big piece, but there is a rocket launcher here that I want to use on it. Right, so there's no real damage models. It looks like the glass is broken, but it hasn't really crumpled at all. And it takes 2 rockets to kill it. Interesting. And you can see it has the Warthog wheels, which have no collision, actually, until I hit them with the rocket launcher, that is. The carcass of a Jackrabbit. Poor Jackrabbit. All right, let's check out the Hawk. Now, of course, this is a vehicle which does not appear in Halo Wars 2, but it is sorely missed. This has got rockets, and it looks like that fires, I want to say, twice the amount of rockets that a Hornet does. And it's got some sort of burst cannons as well. I don't know if we can destroy this. No, it doesn't look like that takes damage. But there's, of course, some Warthogs there that also take damage. Let's see how much damage these rockets do. We'll fire it right in between them. Wow, yeah, there you go. Now, in Halo Wars 1, the Hawk actually has sort of like Gauss turrets, I want to say. So that would have been a cool thing to see. Oh, look at that. It's got like landing gear. Very, very nice. So yeah, the Hawk, not dissimilar to the way the Hornet functions, at least in this mod, but it looks the part. Looks very, very cool, in fact. One of the things I'd love to see added to Halo Wars 2. Let's see what the damage looks like on this. Yep. So it looks like everything takes 2 rockets, and this is just crumpled into a little heap of Hawk destruction. All right, what have we got next? The Cobra. All right, let's take a look at the Cobra. Now, you'll remember that I actually already looked at the Cobra in the Sand Trap video that I mentioned towards the start of the video. And I don't believe this has alternate fire modes. No, there's no alternate fire modes. And it operates on the chassis of a mongoose. You'll see when I got in it, it says drive mongoose. So there isn't really any extra functionality apart from this, what looks like a Goss Warthog's turret. I'm not entirely sure. But in the game's Halo Wars 1... Oh, there we go. Actually, if you hold down the shoot button... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so if you hold down the shoot button, you get like the sort of locked down... what would you call it? Railgun, I guess? Yeah, and 2 shots kills a Scorpion. Look at that. Very nice. I don't know if we can destroy these. No, it doesn't look like we can. So yeah, pretty cool stuff, but that isn't all the mod has to offer, because there is actually Covenant vehicles, or Banished vehicles, over on the other side of the map that I'll go and take a look at. But let's quickly destroy this Cobra, see what it looks like. Yeah, there you go. So the destruction of the vehicles could be a little better, because obviously the Warthogs have got all of these tiered levels of destruction. Like you can knock off the bumper, you can smash the lights. That would be a really nice addition to the modded vehicles. But obviously, they're mods. You can expect them to be a little rough around the edges. But let's go and take a look at the Banished vehicles and the UNSC base. Not the UNSC base, the Banished base, the Covenant base, and the vehicles. Because, as you can see, the same amount of attention and detail has been put into those bases. So let's go and take a look. Oh, and yeah, there's a Retriever Sentinel up in the air. You can't destroy that because I think it's not actually a vehicle. It's just geometry flying around. But we'll take a closer look at that once we've looked at the other vehicles. But they're just over here across the map. All right, then. Here we are on the Covenant side. And as you can see, there's various Banished vehicles and Covenant vehicles. Oh! What the? I just looked at them and they exploded. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. All right, Locust, you can wait over there, I suppose. That actually made me jump a little bit. All right, so as you can see, we've got a... That was so stupid. We've got a Covenant base here with a summit, a hall, and another summit. And I don't believe we can actually interact with these. I could be wrong, but I don't think these have got any interactions on them. No, so they are just things on the map that you can, well, not interact with apart from the main base. So we've just landed in the Hornet there. We've got a Banished Ghost. We've got a Covenant Ghost, but we're not interested in that. We'll take a look at the Banished Ghost first. So yeah, you've got the red display. You've got the red boost patterns. And red lasers. Now let's actually quickly take a look and see if we can do any damage to this. And you can kind of tell that the Banished have taken Covenant vehicles because you can see the orange. Orange? Where is the color orange in this map apart from in the sky? The color purple, you can see that underneath the sort of Banished aesthetic. So it's a stolen Covenant vehicle with, I don't know, some sort of Banished framework on top of it, which is pretty nice. I'm going to spawn myself... how do I spawn myself some weapons here? Vehicles, equipment, scenery, teleporters, spawners, goals, weapons. There's no weapons. I can't buy any weapons. Okay. Never mind. All right, we're going to have to damage it by punching it. And we can safely assume that all of the modded vehicles do, in fact... Oh, this actually takes damage a little bit more... A little bit more than like a UNSC vehicle does. It's more like the Warthog. Comes apart in tears. But I don't have anything to explode it. All right, let's take a look at the Vampire, shall we? And as you can see, it says pilot the Banshee. So it's using the framework of the Banshee. And this has got just fast autocannons that we'll try and use to destroy the Ghost. There we go. So pretty similar destruction pattern for the Ghost there. And I don't believe there's any alternate fire modes on this, which is a shame. So I'm pressing Y, I'm pressing B. Oh, there we go, B. So I was using mouse and keyboard to check this out initially, and obviously mouse and keyboard is different to the controller, and I'm not used to what the alternate fire modes might be. So this is the anti-air vehicle you'll see in Halo Wars 1 with a needler effect and plasma turrets. Pretty cool stuff. Now, I don't believe it's going to have the stasis ability that you've seen in Halo Wars 1 with its Y ability, but that's functionality which might be quite difficult to add. Let's take a look at another vehicle. That was the Vampire. And it's safe to assume the damage profile is similar to all of the other vehicles. Here we have a Marauder, and I believe this is on the framework of the Wraith, yeah. And this has a turret. We'll maybe use the turret to shoot the Vampire. Now, I don't see a projectile. Oh, no, yeah, I do. Okay. I think the projectile's disappearing into the ground. The geometry of the levels perhaps getting in the way. So this is a multi-person vehicle, the Marauder. And if we pilot it, I think we get in here. There we go. You can see the little head sticking out the top. And that's the Marauder. Now, I do quite like the Marauder, but I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity on the part of Halo Wars 2 to include the Prowler. Because it's very, very similar to the Prowler. It's got the turret at the back and it's got the sort of feet either side. But the Marauder doesn't have garrisons like the Prowler does. We're going to be interrupted again by the Locusts exploding and the Grunt goblin screaming. But yeah, the Marauder is sort of like a Prowler, but without the seats on the side, which I thought was a bit of a shame. But I suppose getting new banished vehicles is always interesting. So that's the Prowler. I suppose we'll take a look at the Locust next. And I presume that you get into this underneath. Yep, there we go. And it's sort of like a mini Scarab, I guess. Let's see if we can actually shoot the Retriever. Yeah, look at that. That's really awesome, actually. This might be my favorite vehicle so far because it's got the most unique weapon, I want to say. Now, because it's anti-building, I'm not entirely sure what sort of damage it's going to do to vehicles, but it seems pretty effective, actually. And it crawls around like a crab, which is really quite nice. And you see the Marauder had a custom damage profile there. Let's destroy another Locust and see what that looks like. So I will say that this is sort of like a long-ranged... Oh, and it beeps like a Scarab. This is sort of like a long-ranged anti-vehicle kind of a deal, isn't it? Let's destroy a few of the vehicles. Let's destroy the Banished Ghost. There we go. A normal Ghost. And the Marauder one more time. We'll see that custom effect. Oh, so there's tears to it. And there's a cooldown on the old laser gun here. Yeah, there you go. It's got some nice little orbital effects. And I don't believe we killed a Ghost. A Banshee, excuse me. Very nice. Locust. That is my favorite vehicle thus far. Oh. Oh. Ooh, it sounds like flesh. You can walk through it. That's slightly disconcerting. And you can see when you actually pilot the Locust, it actually appears on the minimap as a red hostile. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. Perhaps there's a hunter inside this. I don't know. There's some funky stuff going on. Let's take a look at the final vehicle here, which is the Grunt Goblin. And I think this might be the most impressive from a technical standpoint because you can see that it's not much bigger than an actual Spartan is. And it's got a fairly detailed model. And when you damage it, he talks. I don't know how many voice lines he's got, but you can see my my sights are sort of sticking on him, as if he's a bad guy. But you can get inside it.
I will destroy them all!
And he's got voice lines. And he can walk in a direct line, sort of similar to the Locust in the way that he's got, like, special leg effects. But he can't walk... So when I'm walking sideways, it's kind of awkward. You can't walk side to side very easily. But he has, of course, got the Needler. And I'm not sure how effective this is against personnel, because we've got no one to shoot it against. But you can't reload it. And I don't believe there's an alternate fire mode. No. It's so loud and it echoes off all the walls. And when you press B, you can punch stuff. And it looks like we've punched a hole in the leg of that Locust there. Look at that. I think I might take it back. This might be my favorite. This might be my favorite vehicle because of the voice lines. And you can smack shit out the way. Look at that. This would actually be quite an interesting thing to introduce in like multiplayer because it's got all of these interactable moments. Like you could punch vehicles, you could punch a warthog coming towards you. That's really cool. And you can see the Spartan inside, and he's piloting it kind of like a mantis. So that is the final vehicle on the Banished / Covenant side. And I think overall this is a really, really cool mod. And like I said, I've stuck a link to it in the top pinned comment. And I definitely recommend you go and check it out because there's been a culmination of work here done by various people to provide the vehicles. And I think it's definitely a good bit of fun and a good showcase of what the MCC can do with mods. So go and check it out via the pinned comment. And actually, hang on. I did promise we'd take a look at the retriever, didn't I? Let's go and do that before we conclude this video, because it looks like he's come out of a hole in the ground. Ooh, hang on. What's down there? Just a spawn platform, probably. So this is the retriever sentinel, and like I mentioned, you can't interact with it. It's just geometry, but you can ride it, and it's silent, and you can't destroy it, I don't believe. I did spend quite some time shooting rockets at it earlier, and it didn't have any damage profile, so that's all there is to say about the retriever sentinel, I'm afraid. But yeah, this is a really, really cool mod. Definitely recommend you check it out. UNSC, Banished and Covenant, on a custom map on the MCC, and you can pilot Halo Wars 1 and 2 vehicles. What more is there to not want? Anyway, check out the previous mod videos linked in the playlist. Other than that, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. I don't think there's fall damage, but we'll find out. Yeah, there is. See you next time, fellas.